Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today we're going to be talking about teabagging and is it toxic, specifically in the way of Dead by Daylight, and because it's something that happens almost every single match of Dead by Daylight. You get somebody that bags probably once, and it's kind of an uproar. It's always a big issue to people when people teabag, but based on what I've been saying so far, you probably think I think one way, but like with most things in life, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle of the 2 points. I've been wanting to talk about this because a lot of DBD content creators have been weighing in on it lately, and usually when a DBD content creator makes like a big take or something, usually that shows up in the reacts, because it's just simply easier to instead of saying, well, X content creator said this, it's easier to just react to their words in live time. But a lot of content creators have been making videos about toxicity and teabagging, so instead of trying to cover all of those at the same time and getting discombobulated, we're just going to make this video. So yeah, without further rambling and explanation, let's go ahead and get started. So, do I think teabagging is inherently toxic in Dead by Daylight? No, I do not think it's inherently toxic, but there's a little asterisk that goes with that. And I actually will be referencing a video, ironically, considering the fact that, what I said at the beginning of this video. I will actually be referencing a video that you probably should go watch that I think kind of breaks down the teabagging idea a little bit better in terms of, the complexity of it. And that is Spooks and Jukes video about is teabagging toxic, because Spooks and Jukes wisely points out that teabagging, while he doesn't believe it's toxic and he doesn't believe it's toxic, that teabagging has a tool as a utility. The first and foremost thing that it's used for, which we'll touch on later, is that it's used to just agitate and to just be a jerk. Like, teabagging is just, in not even just the DBD, but in the history of video games, it's been used as just generally a BM, a bad manners, something that you do to just agitate and make the other side angry and to hurt their feelings. That is probably the most common ways it is used, and that is the way we've seen it used outside of DBD, and now it's carried over to our game as well, carries over to new ASIMs as well, like Texas Chainsaw, and that sort of thing. However, Spooks and Jukes wisely points out that teabagging is not always used in a way that's made to intentionally upset the other person, and the fact that there are tactical uses to teabagging in Dead by Daylight, specifically in the game of Dead by Daylight. We especially now that now that Decisive Strike has been nerfed for about over a year now, because that was summer last year with 6.10. There's not really a whole lot of anti-tunneling utility in the game, if any. You have off the record, but if the killer just wants to tunnel you, they can just run up and hit you before your base kit BT is even done, and it's like you didn't have off the record at all. And Decisive Strike's still in the game, technically, but it's only 3 seconds, so most killers, especially the M2 killers in the game, can kind of just run you down and just hit you again. So the only way you can really prevent tunneling in Dead by Daylight is to take aggro as another teammate. That's basically the only way to stop tunneling in Dead by Daylight, is to have another teammate take aggro for you. Now, of course, yeah, it's easier said than done, because hey, if a killer is hell-bent on tunneling, they're probably just going to do it. But one of the things that people do in order to get another killer's attention is to teabag. So they're trying to take that kind of like that stereotype and that inherent kind of like, okay, well, the most common way that people use teabagging is because I think you're dog, I think you're bad, I'm trying to insult you, I'm trying to get on your skin, I'm trying to hurt your feelings. And they're kind of like weaponizing that. They're weaponizing that emotion that usually comes with teabagging to try and manipulate the killer into getting off the person that they've been hard tunneling, so they can take aggro, so they can, take that hook state for that person that's being tunneled. Now that's really smart. That's really smart, and that is a very, very efficient and good use of of teabagging. It's almost like an in-game mechanic, because in other games like a lot of you have been playing Baldur's Gate lately, because that's a really, really good game. A lot of other games have actual hard mechanics for this, where there's an ability you can use to say, hey, you can only fight me. You can command a character to go fight you instead. Dead by Daylight obviously doesn't have that, especially on the Survivor end of things. So we got to make do with what we can with mind games, like up here, to try and get take aggro for people. Now, this is where I take a departure from where most content creators think about the teabagging situation. And based on what I've said so far, you're probably like, wow, Bran is just fully for teabagging, 100%, sees no issue with it. Well, here's the dealio. Most people do see it that way. They say it's just like, it's just you pressing buttons on a keyboard, and often it has tactical uses that are actually good. So ergo, it's just perfectly fine, right? Here's the deal. This is what I'm going to say about it. This is my little asterisk, my little caveat to this situation. Like I said at the beginning of this, the most common use of teabagging is to BM, is to be rude, is to intentionally try to hurt the feelings and belittle the other person, right? That is the most common use of it. So even if you're using it in a way that's just, hey, I'm being, I'm trying to take aggro for someone else, or let's say, I think Spooks and Jukes also mentioned this in the video. It's just kind of like a funny back and forth. Like if somebody teabagged me as killer, I'll slap them on hook, and there's like GGs and everything in the after chat because it's just like we're just messing around, right? But the thing is, like I said, the most common use of teabagging is to be rude, is to try and get under somebody's skin, is trying to be hurtful. So if somebody is upset in the after chat, or upset with you after the game, whether that be, showing up in your Twitch chat or whatever, don't be all surprised Pikachu face about it and be like, oh my gosh, it's just pressing control on that game. I don't understand why you're so mad. Like, you gotta understand, you gotta have the social awareness that, hey, most people do use this as a tool to upset other people. That is just how it goes. That's just what people do. So if you're using it without the intent to be mean, without the intent to be rude, unfortunately, that is the way most people use it. So don't be shocked. Don't be freaked out if someone gets upset that you did it, because yeah, most of the time when people do that, it is because they're trying to be rude, because they are trying to hurt your feelings. And there you can elaborate and be like, oh yeah, well I didn't mean it, or like I was just trying to take aggro. You can just explain, or like try to talk to them about it, but like don't be like, you have no right to be upset. It's just pressing C on a keyboard, you stupid idiot. Like, that's not the right take, right? That's not the right take either. Don't be shocked when people react in an offended way to something that, usually you do to offend the other person, right? To have a little bit of emotional awareness and responsibility there. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. That is all I ask. And then apparently it's too much to ask a lot of people, but just be aware that, that is a thing. But yeah, those are my short and simple thoughts on teabagging and if it's inherently toxic or not. TLDR, no, but don't be shocked if somebody gets mad at you for it, because most people do use it to hurt other people's feelings. So yeah, just be socially aware of that. On that, that's it for today's video, friends. What do you think? Do you think teabagging is inherently toxic? Let me know down in the comments below. And on that, this will be it for today's video. I do upload daily though, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I don't see you in tomorrow's video, well, I'll see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.